There is caffeine in there, and there is one more stimulant that's like caffeine, but that's it. It's a very athlete-friendly type of pre-workout that's safe to be used. Okay, first of all, it is hot and I'm sweating. I just worked out, and now there's starting to be a little bit of a breeze, but there wasn't any before. So I was like sitting here for a couple of minutes. I was like, there's no wind, I'm sweating like crazy. But I just worked out, and I just used 9 volt. So this pre-workout is not your typical pre-workout, because this is one that has, mental support type of ingredients. It's not one that'll give you any crazy stimulation when it comes to the heart or anything euphoric. It's more like a supportive, mental enhancing type of pre-workout, and I could really tell from the past 2 times I've been using this, because every time I use it I get this productive focus, and it's like a rhythm that goes without giving any crazy energy. But when I'm sitting on the computer and I'm drinking it, I'm focused. I'm so focused, and I'm like getting into the zone for productivity. And then when I get to the gym, I'm even more focused, and it's not like I'm getting more and more focused, but it's so obvious in what it does, because it has that huge dose of tyrosine, which really helps with alertness and mental support, as well as Rola. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but Rola is really good for mental support as well. It has that premium form, which is rare to see in any supplement. It just came out literally like a few months ago, but it has some interesting research behind it, and it is super good. It's nothing crazy when it comes to mood support or energy. It's just there. Like, it's one of those things where if you're having a bad night of sleep and you want something to support your day for productivity, for focus, and obviously energy, but nothing crazy to the heart, it's not like giving you CPR. It's one of those pre-workouts that's scientifically proven without giving any problems in terms of health. It's like a daily, right? It's not anything crazy. You're not going to get withdrawals when you stop using it. It's like one of those things you take, and then the benefits are there the next day. All right, so let's cover the ingredients. I have the ingredients here on my phone, but the first ingredient, 6 grams of citrulline. This is going to help with nitric oxide production. At 6 grams, it's not too big of a dose, and it works well because then you can combine it with another supplement, or you can use it by itself. Citrulline is enough here. Sometimes when you get that big dose, you'll get a side effect of stomach aches and nausea sometimes if it's a really big dose. And 3 grams of tyrosine. This is going to help with mental health and dopamine production, just to feel good. It helps produce more of those feel good, motivating, alertness, increasing neurotransmitters in your mind, which will really help with focus, especially when you're using stimulants with it. Then we have Prime, 500 milligrams. This is a new form of Rola. And this is an interesting form because it'll help with mental support, and the original Rola was really good for mental support, for energy, without being a stimulant. So at 500 milligrams, it's a nice dose. That's a really nice dose, actually, and it's a rare ingredient. We haven't seen it that much in supplements, but it's nice to see in a pre-workout. Then we have Peak ATP. This works similar to creatine, but it works differently. It can help with muscle strength and power. There's 400 milligrams in there, and then we have caffeine. So caffeine in total comes at 300 milligrams, 400 milligrams. So there's about 350 milligrams of caffeine, although the total amount is 400 milligrams. Caffeine malate isn't 100% caffeine, so there's going to be like a 70%, something like that, standardization. So it's close to 400 milligrams of caffeine. It's not a small dose, but it's not a huge dose either. I don't feel any jitters or anxiety with this type of formula. And there's 3 forms of caffeine, so you're going to get various forms of energy throughout different times. Then we have a form of Dynamine, which is sort of like caffeine, but without the buildup of tolerance. It'll increase energy. It's sort of like caffeine, so really there is at least 400 milligrams of caffeine, we can say, with that ingredient. And then we have 50 milligrams of Astrogen. This will help increase the bioavailability of all the ingredients, helping increase the effectiveness and the absorption rate of all the ingredients you're taking with this ingredient. So Then we have artificial sweeteners and flavors. So it's not too artificially sweetened. I mean, I'm drinking this and I don't feel like it's overly done or anything like that. So there's no chemical aftertaste or anything like that. So it's perfectly done. There's really good ingredients in there. I really like it. Tyrosine, it's used for those who have bad nights of sleep, and then when you take it, it's like one of those things that really helps your day. And tyrosine at 3 grams, that's a big dose. So we're getting a nice, supportive pre-workout that's not driven by stimulants, or rather driven by, you know, research-backed ingredients that have long-term benefits that are not going to do anything crazy. There is caffeine in there, and there is one more stimulant that's like caffeine, but that's it. It's a very athlete-friendly type of pre-workout that's safe to be used, and it's nice. It's nice, especially after coming off from hardcore pre-workouts. This is one that'll work. And the pumps are sort of a weakness. There's nothing crazy when it comes to pumps. I add my own pump supplement in there sometimes, and it works better that way. And there's not too big of doses inside 9 volts, so it doesn't really conflict, and it works really well when it comes to combining other supplements. So this is one of those pre-workouts that's just mentally supportive, health supportive, one of those things that'll help with stress as well, because it has that Rola, and I really like Rola, by the way. I've taken it by itself, but this is a really good form in there at Rhino Prime. But really, I have been stressed, right? And I've been under a lot of fatigue, mentally, physically. I've been moving between apartments, and I have a lot of bags, just sort of my fault. But moving between apartments and not staying in one place, and like, it's a lot of decisions to be made, because I'm not planning anything long term when it comes to apartments. And so I rent, and then I have to think about the next apartment, and then I'm like, I look through the apartment, and it takes a lot of fatigue, it takes a lot of stress, it takes a toll on the mental state. And with this pre-workout, though, it really supports that. I feel reduced fatigue when it comes to mental support, right? When I'm in there in the gym, I'm focused, and there's no fatigue, there's no accumulation of fatigue that I've been feeling over the past few days, especially when it comes to stress. Whereas when you take a high stimulant pre-workout, it sort of like hides it, right? And it puts you in a good mood, but then afterwards, you're like, okay, it comes back, all the stress and all the fatigue. But with this, it feels like it deals with it, and it helps it, and it supports that kind of lifestyle. So if you are under a lot of stress, you have bad sleep, etc., and you want something like a daily, this is one of those pre-workouts. And I really like this one pre-workout. 9 volt, like a pro, really good pre-workout. Thanks to NutriCartel for sending this. Of course, this is an unsponsored, unbiased review, truthful. And yeah, I really appreciate you watching. If you watch to this point, I really appreciate it. It really helps the channel out. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you.